The exact details are still a bit fuzzy, which just adds to the mystery, really. But what's crystal clear is that loads of people are already calling this the start. The first shot in a new, maybe long-running rivalry in combat sports entertainment. It's not just a fight, it's being framed as, like, the origin story for a whole new storyline.
And this is a crucial point. It really speaks to how this whole hybrid genre works now. The source material, it deliberately leaves it ambiguous, whether it was staged for hype or a real fight, right? It doesn't actually lessen the impact. If anything, it amplifies it. The talk, the speculation, the debate online, that's the real product here. We've seen searches for Rampage Jackson's son fight just shoot through the roof. It proves the internet is massively fascinated by this drama. This whole phenomenon, that's a story in itself. It shows how modern media just blows up every hint of conflict. And the line between real and staged, it almost becomes irrelevant when the engagement is this high. The conversation about it becomes as valuable as the event itself. This isn't exactly new, right? Think about kayfabe in old school wrestling. Maintaining the illusion was everything. Fans were totally invested. Now, that ambiguity lives online and it turns every viewer into a kind of detective, which just deepens their personal stake in what happens next.
That's a powerful point about engagement, and I totally see how that ambiguity hooks people. It's almost irresistible trying to figure out what's real. But some sources also mention a potential downside. Does this constant blurring of lines risk turning off some fans? You know, the ones who just want pure, authentic athletic competition, not necessarily the spectacle. Where do you see that line being drawn today, or is it just gone?
That's a really sharp question. And yeah, while the initial buzz from something controversial is huge, there definitely is a part of the audience that values authenticity above everything. But what we seem to see in the sources is that the most successful players in combat sports entertainment, they don't totally erase the line. They make it incredibly fluid, permeable. They kind of lean into the ambiguity. They make the question of whether the fight is real part of the story itself, not something that takes away from it. The wrestling world, I mean, they've mastered this for decades, right? It's less about tricking the audience and more about inviting them into the narrative, letting them choose their own interpretation. For a rising star like Raja, this initial ambiguity might actually be a blessing in disguise. It lets him establish a persona that can kind of move between those two worlds, serious sport and pure spectacle.
Fascinating. But the debate itself is part of the entertainment. Okay, so naturally, the wrestling and the wider combat sports world online, totally divided on Raja's involvement and how this whole thing went down.